I want you to think about the moment you opened your eyes this morning, before your feet hit the floor, before you reached for your phone, before the demands of the day came rushing in. What was the very first feeling in your chest? For so many of us, it isn't exciting, it isn't joy, it isn't even peaceful. It is a heavy, silent third of anxiety. It is a feeling of already being behind. You haven't even brushed your teeth yet, and your brain is already cataloging the 100 things you have to do, the people you need to please, and the fires you might have to put out. We live in a world that tells us happiness is a math equation. We are told that if we just add up the right variables, the result will be joy. Find a partner, buy the house, have the baby, build a career, lose weight. We are sold this idea that if we just check enough boxes on the list of a good life, then one day we will cross a finish line, the confetti will fall, and we will finally feel that deep, exciting sense of happiness. So we work harder, we love harder. We sacrifice our sleep and our sanity to keep the ecosystem of our lives running smoothly. We become the emotional architects for everyone around us, managing our husband's moods, our children's futures, our boss's expectations. We curate our homes to look beautiful. We curate our social media to look grateful. And yet, be honest with me, when you are alone in the quiet of the car on the way home from work, or in the bathroom with the door locked for just 5 minutes of peace, do you feel happy? Or do you feel a strange, hollow kind of exhaustion? Not the kind of tired that a good night's sleep can fix, but a deep soul-level fatigue. This is the great paradox of the modern woman. On paper, you might have everything you were supposed to want. You might look at your life and think, I should be happier than this. I have a roof over my head. I have people who love me. I am healthy. And because you have those things, you start to feel something else creeping in, guilt. You start to think, what is wrong with me? Why am I not enjoying this? Am I ungrateful? Am I broken? I want you to know something right now, and I want you to really let this sink into your bones. You are not broken. You are not ungrateful. And you are certainly not alone. The reason you feel this way, this low level hum of dissatisfaction, is not because you aren't doing enough. It's not because you need to work harder or be prettier or be more organized. It is because you have been handed a map to happiness that leads to a cliff. We have been conditioned to believe that happiness is something we achieve, like a trophy. We think it's out there in the future, waiting for us after the next promotion, after the wedding, after the kids grow up. But living in that state of waiting creates a permanent state of lack. You are training your brain every single day to focus on the gap between where you are and where you think you should be, and living in that gap. That is where the exhaustion comes from. It's the exhaustion of constantly chasing a horizon that moves further away every time you take a step. You don't need another vacation to fix this. You don't need a spa day. You don't need to buy a new wardrobe. Those are temporary painkillers for a structural problem. What you are feeling is a disconnection. It's a disconnection from the present moment. Fueled by a nervous system that has forgotten how to be safe in the here and now, you have become an expert at survival, an expert at achievement, and an expert at caretaking. But you have likely lost the ability to simply receive the life you have built. Today, we are going to stop running. We are going to stop looking for the next thing to fix. Instead, we are going to look at the operating system of your mind, because the truth is, happiness is not a byproduct of your circumstances. It is a biological setting. And right now, your setting is stuck on survive. But we can change that. We can rewrite the code. And it doesn't start with doing more. It starts with understanding why the standard advice you've been given has failed you complete, why positive thinking is failing you. Now, usually when you tell someone you're feeling this way, exhausted, uninspired, or just flat, what is the advice you get? Just look on the bright side, good vibes only, choose joy. We are drowning in a culture of toxic positivity. Scroll through Instagram or Pinterest for 5 minutes and you will be bombarded with pastel colored quotes telling you that happiness is a choice. And if you aren't happy, you just aren't choosing it hard enough. I want to tell you why this advice isn't just unhelpful, it is actually dangerous. And it's likely making your anxiety worse when you are feeling overwhelmed, stressed, or sad. Your body is in a specific physiological state. Your cortisol is up. Your heart rate might be elevated. Your brain is scanning for threats. If you try to paste a fake smile over that reality and force yourself to think positive thoughts, you are creating a war inside your own body. It's called cognitive dissonance. My body's screaming, I am stressed. I am unsafe. I am overwhelmed. And your conscious mind is trying to scream back, no, everything is beautiful. I am so blessed. Your brain knows you are lying to it. And because it knows you are lying, it stops trusting you. This internal conflict creates a sense of shame. You start to feel like a failure because you can't just snap out of it. You look at other women who seem to be effortlessly happy and you think they have some secret gene that you missed. Let's be real for a second. Life is hard. There are bills to pay. There are relationships that break our hearts. There are health scares. There is the mundane, gritty reality of scrubbing dishes and folding laundry and sitting in traffic. to pretend that these things don't exist or to pretend that we should be thrilled about them is a form of self-gaslighting. Positive thinking, as it is usually taught, is a coat of paint over a crumbling wall. It might look nice for an hour, but eventually the cracks will show through. We don't need paint. We need to repair the foundation. Real happiness, the kind that lasts, the kind that makes you magnetic and peaceful, is not about ignoring the negative. It is not about pretending the world is perfect. It is about the capacity to hold space for the good alongside the hard. But here is the problem. Your brain is not wired to see the good by default. The human brain is like Velcro for negative experiences and Teflon for positive ones. This isn't because you are a pessimist. It's because you are a survivor. For thousands of years, your ancestors didn't need to admire the sunset to survive. They needed to notice the tiger in the bushes. They needed to remember which berries were poisonous. Your brain evolved to scan for danger, for lack, and for problems to solve. So when you try to just think positive, you are fighting against millions of years of evolutionary biology. You are fighting your own hardware. That is why it feels so exhausting. That is why you can read a self-help book, feel great for 2 days, and then slide right back into your old patterns of worry and stress. You cannot fight biology with willpower. You cannot fight a nervous system that is addicted to stress with a cute quote on a sticky note. If we want to live a happier life, a truly happier life, not just a fake smile, we have to go deeper than positive thinking. We have to stop trying to manipulate our thoughts and start changing the chemical environment of our brains. We need a tool that bypasses the skepticism of the conscious mind and goes straight to the neural pathways. We don't need more positivity. We need a shift in perception. We need a new lens, the introduction of the anchor. So if willpower doesn't work and positive thinking is a trap, what is left? How do we actually shift the needle? The answer lies in a practice that you think you already know, but I promise you, you have likely been doing it wrong your entire life. You clicked on this video because the title mentioned gratitude, and I can almost hear some of you sighing. You might be thinking, oh, I've tried that. I wrote down 3 things I was thankful for in a journal for a week. It was nice, but it didn't change my life, and you are right. Writing a list of things you are thankful for, like your house, your dog, or your coffee, is a nice gesture, but biologically it is almost useless. The method I am going to teach you today is not a checklist. It is not a chore, is what I call the anchor. This is a specific neurologically driven protocol designed to interrupt your brain's default stress pattern and physically rewire your neural pathways. This isn't about counting your blessings. It is about learning how to generate a specific neurochemical state on command and then anchoring that state into your body so that it becomes your new baseline. We are talking about neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to change its physical structure based on what you focus on. Most people use neuroplasticity unconsciously to build highways of anxiety. They practice worrying so often that their brain becomes a supercomputer for stress. The anchor practice reverses this. It takes gratitude out of the realm of nice ideas and turns it into a high-performance tool for emotional regulation. When you do this correctly, and I will show you exactly how in a moment, you aren't just having a nice thought. You are flooding your system with dopamine and serotonin. You are lowering your cortisol levels. You are signaling to your parasympathetic nervous system that you are safe, you are abundant, and you are enough. This is the missing key. This is why you have felt stuck. You have been trying to change your mind with your mind, but you need to change your brain with your body. The anchor is small. It takes less than 5 minutes, but its effects are cumulative. Think of it like compound interest for your soul. If you do this today, you will feel a shift. If you do this for 7 days, you will feel lighter. If you do this for a month, you will be unrecognizable to the person you were this morning. But before I give you the step-by-step protocol, we need to understand why your brain resists happiness so much in the first place. We need to look under the hood of your psychology, because once you understand the mechanics of why you feel stuck, freedom comes much, much faster. Let's dive into the neuroscience of your own mind, the neuroscience of why you feel stuck, your brain's default mode. I want you to imagine for a moment that you are walking through a beautiful, lush forest. There are vibrant flowers blooming to your left. There is a stunning waterfall crashing down to your right. The sun is filtering through the leaves in that perfect golden way. But hidden somewhere in the bushes, there is a faint rustling sound. Maybe it's a tiger, maybe it's a snake. Where does your attention go? Do you pause to smell the roses? Do you admire the way the light hits the water? No. Your entire focus, every ounce of your brain's processing power locks onto that rustling bush. You freeze. Your heart rate spikes. Your pupils dilate. The beauty of the forest effectively ceases to exist for you. You are in survival mode. This is exactly how your brain is operating in your modern life. This is what neuroscientists call the negativity bias. It is the brain's default setting. To understand why you can't simply choose to be happy, you have to understand that your brain was not designed to make you happy. It was designed to keep you alive. For millions of years, Our ancestors lived in environments where threats were constant and fatal. If they missed a source of food, a positive thing, they might be hungry for a day. But if they missed the predator in the grass, a negative thing, they were dead. Therefore, nature designed a brain that prioritizes bad news over good news by a ratio of about 5-1. It takes 5 positive interactions to outweigh the emotional impact of 1 negative interaction. Think about your own day. You could have 20 people tell you that you look beautiful. You did a great job at work. But if one person leaves a snarky comment or your partner makes one critical remark, what do you think about while you're trying to fall asleep? You replay the criticism, you obsess over the threat. This isn't because you are insecure. It isn't because you are too sensitive. It is because your reticular activating system, the RAS, is doing its job. The RAS is a bundle of nerves at your brainstem that acts like a bouncer at a nightclub. It filters the millions of bits of data coming at you every second and decides what gets into your conscious awareness. And because of that ancient wiring, the RAS has a VIP list that consists almost entirely of problems, dangers, and inconsistencies. In the modern world, we don't have tigers in the bushes, but we have bills. We have passive-aggressive emails. We have the fear of rejection. We have the fear of not being a good enough mother. Your brain treats these modern stressors with the exact same biological intensity as a predator. So you are walking through the forest of your life, which is actually filled with blessings. You have running water. You have food in the fridge. You have freedom. But your RAS is filtering all of that out as background noise because it is safe. It is non-threatening. Instead, your brain is locking onto the rustling bush, the messy house, the credit card balance, the weird tone in your friend's voice. This explains why you can have a seemingly perfect life and still feel miserable. Your brain is a scanning device for what is missing, what is wrong, and what is dangerous. This is why gratitude feels so unnatural at first. When I tell you to look for what is good, I am asking you to go against your factory settings. I am asking you to tell the bouncer at the door to change the VIP list. Most women spend their entire lives thinking there is something wrong with their soul, when really it is just a glitch in their software. You have been waiting for your external circumstances to become perfect so that your brain can finally relax. You think once the house is clean, then I'll be calm. Once he apologizes, then I'll feel better. But the RAS doesn't work that way. If you fix the messy house, your brain will simply scan for the next problem, maybe your weight. If you fix the weight, it will scan for the next threat, maybe your aging parents. There will always be a rustling bush. If you wait for the forest to be silent before you allow yourself to enjoy the view, you will die waiting. We have to learn how to override the system. We have to learn how to manually turn the camera lens away from the danger and force it to focus on the beauty. And the reason this is so hard, it's not just mental, it's chemical. You might actually be addicted to the stress. The addiction to cortisol. Have you ever had a day where everything was actually going fine? The kids were behaving, work was quiet, the house was relatively clean, and suddenly you felt a wave of anxiety. You found yourself pacing around looking for something to fix. You picked a fight with your husband over something small. You started scrolling the news, looking for a tragedy. It was as if the silence was too loud. It felt suspicious. You were waiting for the other shoe to drop. Why do we do this? Why do we self-sabotage our own peace the moment we finally get it? The answer is terrifying, but it is also liberating. Your body has become chemically addicted to stress. We talk about addiction to sugar or caffeine or alcohol, but we rarely talk about emotional addiction. Every emotion you feel is a cocktail of peptides and hormones. Anger has a chemical signature. Worry has a chemical signature. Rushing has a chemical signature, mostly cortisol and adrenaline. If you have spent the last 5, 10, or 20 years in a state of high stress, rushing to drop off the kids, rushing to meet deadlines, worrying about money, worrying about the future, your body has acclimated to that level of cortisol. It has become your normal. Your cells have actually developed more receptors for cortisol to accommodate the constant flood. This becomes your baseline. This becomes your comfort zone. So when you suddenly have a moment of peace, when the cortisol drops, your body goes into withdrawal. Your cells literally scream out, hey, where is the rush? Where is the panic? We need our fix. Your brain, trying to be helpful, interprets this chemical withdrawal as something is wrong. It thinks the calm is unsafe because it feels unfamiliar. So your subconscious mind goes to work to manufacture a crisis. It reminds you of an embarrassing thing you said 3 years ago. It prompts you to worry about a bill that isn't due for 2 weeks. It makes you snap at your child. And the moment you get stressed again, relief, your body gets its hit of cortisol. You feel normal again. You feel like you are back in control. This is the cycle of the control freak. We think worry is a form of love. We think stress is a form of responsibility. We tell ourselves, I have to worry or everything will fall apart. But the truth is we are just feeding the addiction. This is why trying to be happy often fails. You are fighting a physiological dependency on chaos. Happiness, gratitude and peace feel boring to a traumatized nervous system. They feel like a void. Recognizing this is the first step to freedom. You have to realize that the anxiety you feel when you sit down and relax isn't a sign that you are lazy. It isn't a sign that you forgot to do something. It is a withdrawal symptom. It takes courage to sit through that withdrawal. It takes courage to feel the boredom of peace and not run away from it. When we practice the deep gratitude technique I am about to teach you, we are going to feel resistance. Your brain is going to say, this is stupid. We don't have time for this. We should be worrying about the laundry. That voice is the addiction talking. It wants to keep you in the loop of survival. It wants to keep you small, scared, and hyper vigilant. But you cannot heal a body that is constantly in fight or flight mode. You cannot connect deeply with your husband when your system is flooded with adrenaline. You cannot be a patient, present mother when you are running on cortisol fumes. Breaking this addiction is the most important work you will ever do. And the good news, your brain is not set in stone. Just because you are wired for stress today, it doesn't mean you have to be wired for stress tomorrow. Let's talk about hope. Let's talk about the magic of neuroplasticity. The hope. For a long time, scientists believed that the adult brain was fixed. They thought that once you reached a certain age, your neural pathways were set in concrete, and you were essentially stuck with your personality and your habits forever. Thank goodness they were wrong. We now know about neuroplasticity. This is the brain's incredible ability to reorganize itself, to form new neural connections, and to physically change its structure throughout your entire life. Think of your brain like a dense forest. Every thought you think and every emotion you feel is a hiker walking through that forest. If you think a thought once like, I am grateful for this coffee, it's like one hiker walking through high grass. The grass bends down for a moment, but then it springs back up. The path disappears. This is why sporadic gratitude doesn't work. But if you think about it over and over again, like, I am so stressed, I never have enough time, I am failing. That is like 1,000 hikers walking the same path every single day. The grass gets trampled, the dirt gets packed down, the trees are cleared away. Eventually, that path becomes a superhighway. It becomes the path of least resistance. Right now, your brain has a superhighway for stress, has a superhighway for insecurity. It has a superhighway for noticing the mess instead of the magic. When a neutral event happens, your thoughts automatically slide down the stress highway because it is the easiest route. But here is the hope: highways can be closed and new paths can be forged. Every time you consciously interrupt a negative thought and choose a new one, you are hacking your way through the fresh grass. It is hard work at first. It feels unnatural. It feels fake. Hey, that is normal. You are blazing a new trail. But if you do it again tomorrow, and the next day and the next, the grass begins to mat down. The path becomes clearer, and simultaneously the old highway of stress, because it is being used less, starts to overgrow. Weeds pop up in the pavement. Nature reclaims eventually. The day comes where the new path, the path of gratitude, of peace, of enoughness, becomes the path of least resistance. You wake up and your first thought isn't, I'm tired, but I'm alive, and you don't even have to try. It just happens. This is what we are aiming for. We aren't just trying to have a few nice moments. We are physically remodeling the architecture of your brain. The practice I am about to share with you, the deep gratitude protocol, is the bulldozer for that new path. It is designed to be intense enough, specific enough, and emotional enough to carve that trail faster than traditional journaling ever could. We are about to leave the theory behind. We are about to get practical. If you are ready to stop letting your ancient biology dictate your happiness and start taking control of the wheel, let me introduce you to the technique that changes everything. Deep gratitude protocol. Why writing a list doesn't work. We have arrived at the moment of truth. You understand the problem. Your brain is wired for negativity. You understand the stakes. You are fighting an addiction to cortisol. Now, we need the tool to fix it. But first, I need you to do something for me. I need you to mentally throw away everything you have ever been taught about gratitude journaling. If you are like most women, you have probably bought a beautiful notebook at Target or Home Goods. You bought the nice pens. You sat down on January 1st with the best of intentions. You wrote the date at the top of the page. And then you wrote my husband, my kids, my child. You stared at the list. You nodded. You thought, yes, those are good things. I am lucky. And then you closed the book and went right back to yelling at your kids to put their shoes on, feeling the exact same level of stress as before. After 3 days, the practice felt repetitive. After a week, it felt like a chore. After a month, the notebook was buried under a pile of mail, gathering dust. Why did this fail? You did the action. You wrote the words. Why didn't you feel the shift? The problem is that you were engaging in intellectual gratitude. Intellectual gratitude is when you acknowledge something is good logically, but you don't feel it viscerally. It is a grocery list. You are simply cataloging your assets. I have a house. Check. I have a car. Check. Your brain, specifically the emotional center of your brain, the limbic system, does not speak English. It does not care about your list. It does not care about logic. You can tell yourself, I am so blessed 1,000 times, but if your body is tight and your breathing is shallow, your brain will reject the affirmation as a lie. The standard way of practicing gratitude is what I call data entry. You are just inputting data. But data doesn't change neural pathways. Emotion changes neural pathways. Unless you can generate a physical chemical shift in your body while you are thinking about the blessing, nothing happens. You are just writing words on paper. It is a waste of ink and a waste of your time. This is why so many women feel guilty about gratitude. They look at their list and think, I know I should feel happy about this, but I just feel numb. That numbness is the gap between your head and your heart. The protocol I am about to teach you, the deep gratitude protocol, is designed to close that gap. It is not about how many things you write down. In fact, I want you to write down less. I want you to focus on one thing. We are going to move from breadth to depth. We are going to stop skimming the surface of your life and start diving deep into the texture of it. We're going to turn data entry into emotional immersion. This method has 3 specific steps. If you skip one, it won't work. But if you do all 3, you will feel a physical release of tension in less than 60 seconds. Are you ready? Let's begin with step 1. Step 1, specificity and sensory detail. Step 1 is radical specificity. The enemy of gratitude is vagueness. When you write down, I'm grateful for my husband, that is a vague, abstract concept. Your brain has a hard time holding on to it. It's too big. Encompasses 10 years of history, arguments, love, dirty socks, and shared finances. It's a blur. To trigger a neurochemical response, you need to stop looking at the panorama and start looking through a microscope. You need to zoom in until the image is high definition. I don't want you to be grateful for your husband. I want you to be grateful for the specific way his eyes crinkle at the corners when he laughs at his own dad jokes. I don't want you to be grateful for coffee. I want you to be grateful for the warmth of the ceramic mug against your palms and the first bitter, sweet smell of the steam hitting your face. I don't want you to be grateful for weather. I want you to be grateful for the way the morning sun is currently hitting the dust motes, dancing in your living room window. Do you feel the difference? Vagueness is a thought. Specificity is an experience. When you get specific, you force your brain to visualize. You force your brain to retrieve a sensory memory. When you think about the heat of the coffee mug, your brain actually lights up the sensory cortex as if you were holding the cup right now. You are tricking your brain into reliving the pleasure. So the first rule of the deep gratitude protocol is go small. Don't look for the big, life-altering blessings. Those are too heavy. Look for the micro moments. Look for the tiny, almost invisible glimmers of goodness that happen every day, but usually go unnoticed. The sound of your cat purring, the feeling of fresh sheets against your legs, the taste of a perfectly ripe strawberry, the text message from a friend that made you smile. Why does going small work better? Because these things are uncomplicated. Your marriage might be complicated. Your job might be stressful. Your body might be a source of insecurity. If you try to force gratitude for those big, heavy things, your brain will immediately offer a rebuttal. You'll say, I'm grateful for my job, and your brain will whisper, but I hate my boss. You'll say, I'm grateful for my body, and your brain will whisper, but I wish I was 10 pounds lighter. But the strawberry is just a strawberry. It is pure. It is safe. It allows you to access the feeling of appreciation without the baggage. So for step 1, I want you to pick one specific snapshot from the last 24 hours. Just one. Frame that moment in your mind. What did it look like? What did it sound like? What was the texture? What was the temperature? If you are journaling this, do not write a bullet point. Write a sentence. Write a description. Instead of my garden, write, I am grateful for the pop of pink color on the new rose bush that bloomed this morning. This requires mental effort. It requires you to slow down, and that is exactly the point. Remember chapter 1, we are trying to break the habit of rushing. You cannot rush specificity. You have to linger. By forcing your brain to hunt for these details, you are training your reticular activating system. You are telling the bouncer, let the small, beautiful details in. These are important to me. If you do this every day, you will start to notice a shift in how you walk through the world. You will start noticing the light. You will start hearing the birds. You will start seeing the beauty that was always there, but that you were too busy and too vague to see. But seeing it isn't enough. We have to connect it to you. That leads us to step 2, the because factor step 2 is the bridge. It is the connector cable that takes the energy from the object, the coffee, the rose, smile and plugs it directly into your heart. It is called the because clause. It is not enough to say what you are grateful for. You must articulate why it matters to you. You must define the impact it had on your emotional state. This seems simple, but it is the step almost everyone skips. We assume we know why we are grateful, But unless we spell it out, the brain doesn't register the emotional weight of it. Here is the formula. I am grateful for specific thing because how it made me feel, what it gave me. Let's go back to our examples. Level 1, the list. I am grateful for coffee, a flat, boring, no charges. That was a specificity. I am grateful for the heat of this mug in my hands, better sensory, but still external. Then level 3, so the because factor, I am grateful for the heat of this mug in my hands, because for those 5 minutes of quiet drinking it, I felt completely at peace and like I didn't have to take care of anyone else. Boom. Did you feel that shift? Suddenly it's not about coffee anymore. It's about safety. It's about freedom. It's about peace. Let's try another one. Level 20, I am grateful for the text message my sister sent me. Level 30, I am grateful for the text message my sister sent me, because it reminded me that I am not alone in this struggle and that someone truly sees me. Now it's not about a text. It's about belonging. It's about being known. When you add the because, you are digging for the gold. You are identifying the emotional need that was met. Did it make you feel safe? Did it make you feel loved? Did it make you feel abundant? Did it make you laugh when you wanted to cry? This step is crucial because it teaches your brain that your needs are being met. Anxiety is a story that says, I am unsafe, I am lacking, I am alone. The because factor tells a new story. I experience peace, I experience connection, I experience joy. You are providing evidence to the courtroom of your mind that your life is actually good. You aren't just saying it, you are proving it with cause and effect. This also prevents the practice from becoming robotic. You can't autopilot the because. You have to stop and think. You have to check in with your feelings. Why did that matter to me? Sometimes the because is profound. Sometimes it is simple. I am grateful for the sun hitting my face because it felt like a warm hug after a long, cold winter. It validates your human experience. It honors your feelings. So in your notebook or in your mind, never place a period after the object. Always add a comma and then the word beaker use. You force yourself to finish the sentence. If you struggle with this, ask yourself, if this thing didn't happen, what would I have missed? The answer to that question is your because. Now you have a vivid image of step 1. You have a deep emotional reason, step 2. You have the ingredients for a powerful chemical shift. But now we have to cook the meal. We have to consume it. We have to move the gratitude out of your head and into your cells. This is step 3, and it is the most important part of the entire protocol. Step 3, somatic embodiment, a secret sauce. We have arrived at step 3. This is the secret sauce. This is the difference between a nice thought and a transformed life. Step 3 is somatic embodiment, or as I like to call it, the savoring. There is a rule in neuroscience called Hebb's law, neurons that fire together, but there is a caveat. In order for neurons to wire together to strongly enough to create a new long-term trait, they have to fire together for a specific duration of time. Neuropsychologist Dr. Rick Hansen has done incredible research on this. He found that for a positive experience to move from your short-term working memory into your long-term emotional structure, you need to hold your attention on it for at least 15 to 20 seconds. 15 to 20 seconds. Think about that. When you normally experience something good, someone gives you a compliment or you see a pretty flower, how long do you focus on it? Maybe 2 seconds, 3 seconds. Then you distract yourself. You move on to the next problem because you only held it for 3 seconds. It washes right through you like water through a sieve. It feels nice at the moment, but it leaves no trace. It doesn't change your brain, but negative things. We hold on to those for hours. We marinate in them. That's why they stick. To balance the scales, we have to learn to marinate in the good. So step 3 is this: after you have identified the specific thing and you have identified the cause, I want you to close your eyes. I want you to visualize that moment again. And I want you to let the feeling of it land in your physical body. Where do you feel the gratitude? Does it feel like a warmth in your chest? Does it feel like a relaxation in your shoulders? Does it feel like a tingling in your hands? Does it feel like a smile spreading across your face? Find the sensation. And then this is the work. Hold it there. Don't let your mind wander. Stay with the feeling. Imagine you are turning up the volume dial on that sensation. Make the warmth warmer. Make the relaxation deeper. Count to 20 slowly. 1, feeling the warmth. 2, breathing into it. 3, letting it soften your belly. 4, smiling into the feeling. It sounds easy, but the first time you try it, it will feel like an eternity. Your brain will try to jump away. It will say, okay, I got it. Moving on, gently bring it back. Say, no, we are enjoying this. We are absorbing this. Imagine that gratitude is a nutrient and your cells are soaking it up like a dry sponge. You are literally installing this happiness into your nervous system. You are teaching your body what safety feels like. You are teaching your body what joy feels like. If you do not feel it in your body, it is just an idea. If you feel it in your body, it becomes a reality. Let's try a quick simulation right now. Wherever you are, I want you to think of one thing, just one that went right today. Maybe it was your coffee. Maybe it was a song you liked on the radio. Maybe it was just the fact that you are sitting in a comfortable chair. Get specific. See it. A step one, think about why it was nice. A step two, now close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Find where that good feeling lives in your body. Is it in your heart, your gut? Focus on it. Keep focusing. Breathe. Let it expand 5 more seconds. Soak it in and open your eyes. Do you feel that? That slight lowering of your shoulders, that tiny bit of space that just opened up in your chest. That is the medicine. That is the anchor. You didn't change your life in the last 30 seconds. You didn't pay off your debt or fix your marriage, but you changed your state. You took a proactive step to regulate your own nervous system. And if you can do that once, you can do it again. This is the deep gratitude protocol, radical specificity, the snapshot, the because factor, the meaning, somatic embodiment, the 20-second saver. It takes less than 2 minutes. You can do it while brushing your teeth. You can do it while waiting in the carpool line. You can do it in bed before you fall asleep. It is not a checklist. It is a ritual of receiving. Now, you might be thinking, okay, this is great for me personally, but how does this fix my relationships? How does this fix the fact that I feel lonely or unappreciated by my partner? I am so glad you asked, because when you apply this protocol to other people, it doesn't just change you, it changes them. It can save marriages. It can reignite attraction. Let's talk about how to use this tool to transform your love life. Applying the practice to relationships, the lens of appreciation in love. Know that you know how to use the anchor to regulate your own nervous system. We are going to apply it to the most complex part of our lives, our relationships. If I asked you to be honest, brutally honest, about the current narrative running through your head regarding your partner, what would it be? For many of us, after the honeymoon phase fades and the reality of mortgages, kids, and chores sets in, the narrative sounds something like this. Hi doesn't help enough. It doesn't listen. Why do I have to do everything? He used to be so romantic. Now he's just a roommate. We build a case against our partners. Like a lawyer gathering evidence for a trial, we collect every wet towel left on the floor, every forgotten anniversary, and every tone of voice that annoyed us. We stack this evidence up to prove a point. I am doing more and I am not getting what I need. And here is the hard truth. You might be right. He might be messy. He might be forgetful. But remember the reticular activating system we talked about in chapter 2, the bouncer in your brain. When you decide consciously or unconsciously that your partner is annoying or lazy, your RAS goes to work to prove you right. It will scan your environment for every single instance of laziness. It will highlight the socks on the floor in neon red. It will amplify the sound of his chewing. At the same time, it will actively delete any evidence to the contrary. He might have taken the trash out, but you didn't notice because you were too focused on the dishes in the sink. He might have played with the kids for an hour, but you missed it because you were fixating on him looking at his phone for 5 minutes. You are not seeing your partner. You are seeing your story of your partner. This creates a self-fulfilling prophecy. You treat him with irritation because you only see his flaws. He feels that irritation and withdraws because who wants to be around someone who is constantly critical? His withdrawal makes you more annoyed, and the cycle continues until you are two strangers living in the same house, resentful and lonely. So how do we break this? We use the deep gratitude protocol to change the lens. I want you to try an experiment. For the next 48 hours, I want you to give your RAS a new mission. I want you to become a detective for the good. I want you to hunt for things to appreciate about him with the same intensity that you used to hunt for his mistakes. Apply the 3 steps, find the micro moment. Maybe he made you coffee. Maybe he drove the car so you could relax. Maybe he works hard to pay the mortgage. Look for the tiny things. Add the because I am grateful he took the trash out without being asked, because it took one thing off my mental load. Savor it, watch him do it. Feel a moment of softness toward him, let it land. This is not about ignoring real issues. If there are major problems, those need to be addressed. But you cannot address problems effectively from a place of contempt. When you start to practice this, something magical happens. It's a concept in psychology called the Pygmalion effect. People tend to rise to the level of our expectations. When you start noticing the good in him, you stop projecting disappointment and start projecting appreciation. He feels that shift. Men are incredibly sensitive to whether a woman perceives them as a hero or a failure. If he feels like a failure in your eyes, he will stop trying. Why try if he's going to get criticized anyway? If he feels like a hero, if he sees you lighting up because he did something small, he will instinctively want to do more of that thing. Dopamine is a powerful drug for men too. Being appreciated makes him feel capable, masculine, and seen. You are not manipulating him. You are simply choosing to water the flowers instead of the weeds. By using the anchor practice on your relationship, you are taking your power back. You are deciding that your peace and your connection are more important than being right about how annoying he is. you are cleaning the lens. And often when we clean the lens, we realize the man standing in front of us is actually pretty wonderful. We just forgot how to look at him. Becoming magnetically attractive. No, let's talk about attraction. Whether you are single and dating or married and wanting to feel desired again, there is a secret to magnetism that very few women understand. We often think attraction is about looks. We think we need to lose 10 pounds, get Botox, or buy the perfect dress to be irresistible. And while taking care of yourself is beautiful, true magnetism, the kind that makes a man cross a room to talk to you or makes your husband want to be near you, is energetic. There are two main energetic states a woman can occupy: lack or radiance. A woman in a state of lack is focused on what she doesn't have. Why hasn't he texted back? Where is this relationship going? Does he still find me pretty? I wish he would do more. This energy feels heavy. It feels grasping. Biologically, it signals danger or responsibility to a man. When you are in a state of complaint or insecurity, you become an energetic black hole. You are asking him to fill a void inside of you. That is exhausting. It is the opposite of sexy. Now, contrast that with a woman in a state of radiance. A woman in radiance is a woman who is deeply practiced in gratitude. She isn't waiting for a man to make her happy. She is already happy because she notices the beauty in her own life. She notices the sunset. She enjoys her food. She loves the feel of her own bed. She is filled with a sense of enoughness. When you practice the deep gratitude protocol, you are literally filling your own cup. You are generating your own dopamine. You are soothing your own nervous system. And when a woman is full, she glows. She becomes a source of light, not a drain on energy. Think about the women you are most drawn to. Are they the ones who are constantly complaining and analyzing everything? Or are they the ones who seem to delight in life? The ones who laugh easily. The ones who say, oh, look at that moon, or this wine is delicious. That capacity for delight is incredibly attractive. When you are dating, this is your superpower. If you go on a date and you are looking for red flags, you will seem guarded and cold. But if you go on a date practicing gratitude, being grateful for the nice conversation, grateful for the meal, grateful for the chance to dress up, you will exude warmth. You will be present. Men are drawn to women who know how to enjoy life. It signals to his primal brain, she is happy. She is safe. If I am with her, life will be good. And for my married ladies, this is the secret to reigniting the spark. Resentment is the greatest mood killer in existence. You cannot desire someone you are secretly judging, and he cannot desire you if he feels like he can never please you. When you start voicing your gratitude, using the velvet whisper we've talked about in other videos, or just a simple, genuine thank you for fixing that shelf, it looks amazing. You change the polarity. You step out of the role of nagging mother and into the role of appreciative lover. You are signaling, I see you. I value you. You are good. That creates safety. And for men, emotional safety is the gateway to intimacy. So if you want to be more attractive, don't just focus on your lipstick. Focus on your frequency. A woman who is deeply grateful for her life is a woman who is magnetic. She doesn't need to chase love, because love is naturally drawn to the light. Healing resentment with micro gratitude. I can hear some of you hesitating. This sounds nice, but you don't understand what he did. I am too angry to be grateful. He doesn't deserve my appreciation right now. I want to validate that. Sometimes there is deep hurt. Sometimes there is betrayal. Sometimes you're in a season of marriage where you are really, really struggling to like the person sleeping next to you. When you are holding on a resentment, the idea of gratitude can feel like a betrayal of your own pain. It feels like letting him off the hook. But I want to offer you a different perspective. Gratitude is not for him. It is for you. Resentment is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. When you wake up every day rehearsing your anger, you are the one whose cortisol is spiking. You are the one whose heart is hardening. You are the one losing your joy. He might be totally oblivious, watching TV in the other room while you are internally burning alive. You use the deep gratitude protocol here not to excuse his behavior, but to crack open the door of your own prison cell. We call this micro gratitude. When you are angry, you don't have to be grateful for the relationship. You don't have to be grateful for him as a whole. You just have to find one tiny thing that is true so that you can stop the spiral of absolute darkness. Maybe he is being a jerk, but he pays the internet bill so you can watch this video. Maybe he didn't help with the party, but he is a good father to your daughter. Maybe you were fighting, but he made coffee this morning. Find the smallest, truest thing. I am grateful he took the kids to the park, because it gave me an hour of silence. Acknowledging that does not mean you forgive the other stuff. It doesn't mean the fight is over. It just means you are refusing to let the darkness consume 100% of your vision. You are keeping a tiny flashlight on. This softens you. It prevents your heart from turning into stone. It keeps you flexible. And sometimes that tiny crack is enough to let the light back in. When we release the death grip of resentment, we often find the clarity we need to actually solve the problem, or the clarity to know if we need to leave. But we make those decisions from a place of calm wisdom, not a place of burning anger. Use gratitude as a shield for your own heart. Protect your peace. Do not let someone else's behavior steal your ability to see the good in the world. That is too high a price to pay. Gratitude as a self-love practice, making peace with the mirror. We have talked about using gratitude to rewire your brain and heal your relationships. But now we need to go into the room where the door is usually locked. We need to talk about the relationship you have with the woman in the mirror. For so many of us, our body is not a sanctuary. It is a battleground. We wake up, walk into the bathroom, and the bullying begins before we have even washed our faces. Look at those bags under your eyes. My stomach looks bloated today. Why won't this weight budge? I look so tired. We treat our bodies like unruly employees that we are constantly reprimanding. We starve them, we overwork them, we critique them, and then we wonder why we feel so exhausted and unsexy. You cannot feel magnetic and you cannot feel happy if you are living inside a vessel that you despise. Now, the standard advice is body positivity. Just love your curves. You are a queen. And while that is a beautiful sentiment for many of us, it feels like a lie. If you have spent 20 years hating your thighs, staring at them in the mirror and forcing yourself to say, I love you, feels like psychological gaslighting. Your brain rejects it. So we aren't going to try to force love just yet. We are going to aim for something deeper and more honest reverence. We are going to use the deep gratitude protocol to shift from viewing your body as an ornament to viewing it as an instrument. I want you to pick one part of your body that you usually criticize. Maybe it's your stomach. Maybe it's your legs. Maybe it's the lines around your eyes. Step 1 in, get specific. Instead of looking at your stomach and seeing fat, I want you to look at the softness. Look at the skin. Step 2, the cause factor. This is where the healing happens. You have to connect that body part to the life it has allowed you to live. I am grateful for my soft stomach. I am grateful for these strong legs because they allowed me to walk through Paris that one summer and they carry me up the stairs every night to put my kids to bed. I am grateful for the lines by my eyes because they are the physical evidence that I have laughed a lot in this life. Do you feel the shift? When you anchor your gratitude in function and memory, the judgment starts to dissolve. You stop seeing flaws and you start seeing a map of your history. Your body is the record keeper of your life. Every scar, every stretch mark, every gray hair is evidence that you have lived, you have survived, and you have loved. Step 3, somatic embodiment. I want you to actually touch that part of yourself. Place your hands on your stomach or your legs or your face. Feel the warmth of your skin. Close your eyes. And instead of pulling away, I want you to pour appreciation into that spot for 20 seconds. Imagine saying to your body, thank you. Thank you for carrying me. Thank you for not giving up on me, even when I was mean to you. Thank you for breathing for me while I sleep. This is a profound reclamation. When you stop fighting your body, you free up a massive amount of energy. Think about how much mental bandwidth you waste every day worrying about how you look. Imagine if you took that energy and directed it toward your dreams, your family, or your passions. Gratitude is the truce. It is the moment you put down the weapons and decide that you and your body are on the same team. And let me tell you, a woman who is at peace in her own skin, that is the most beautiful thing in the world. It radiates a quiet confidence that no amount of makeup can replicate. Start small. Maybe today it's just your hands. Look at them. They wash the dishes. They hold the people you love. They type the emails. They are miracles. The enoughness mindset, the second war we wage against ourselves is the war of achievement, especially for women between 25 and 45. There is this relentless pressure to be the unicorn. You need to be the boss babe at work, the Pinterest perfect mom at home, the supportive wife, the fit gym, gore, and the spiritual goddess, all at the same time. We live with a subconscious belief that says, I will be enough the promotion. When I get the promotion, when I lose the last 10 pounds, when the house is finally renovated, when I finally get my life together, we treat our current selves as a draft version. We are waiting for the final polished version of ourselves to arrive so we can finally give ourselves permission to relax and be happy. This is the imposter syndrome loop. We feel like frauds because we are constantly measuring ourselves against an impossible ideal. Gratitude is the antidote to the not enough wound. But, and this is critical, we are not practicing gratitude for what we do. We are practicing gratitude for who we are. In our society, we are praised for our output. Good job. You're so productive. Wow, how do you do it all? So we learn to value ourselves based on our productivity. If we have a lazy day, we feel worthless. I want you to use the anchor practice to detach your worth from your work. Step 110, identify a trait, not a triumph. Don't be grateful for the project you finished. Be grateful for the creativity you have inside you. Don't be grateful that you cleaned the house. Be grateful for your desire to create a nurturing space. Step 2, hide the because factor. I am grateful for my sensitive heart because it allows me to feel deep empathy for my friends. I am grateful for my resilience. because I have navigated hard days and I am still standing. I am grateful for my curiosity because it makes life interesting. Notice what we are doing here. We are celebrating human being, not human doing. You are validating your character. You are validating your spirit. When you take 20 seconds to somaticize this, to really feel proud of your resilience or your kindness or your humor, you are building an internal foundation of self-worth that is independent of your boss's opinion or your Instagram likes. You are telling yourself, I am already enough. Right now, messy kitchen and all, unfinished to-do list and all, I am valuable simply because I exist. This is radical. In a world that wants to sell you things to fix you, deciding that you are already whole is an act of rebellion. When you practice this kind of self-gratitude, the desperation fades. You stop hustling for approval. You stop saying ice to things you don't want to do just to prove you're a good person. You start setting boundaries. Why? Because you know your worth. You have anchored it in. That you visit it every morning. You don't need a stranger to tell you you're good because you already told yourself. This is the ultimate freedom. It allows you to pursue your goals from a place of passion rather than a place of panic. You work hard because you love it, not because you are terrified that if you stop, you will disappear. The deep gratitude protocol is how you come home to yourself. It is how you look in the mirror into your own eyes and finally say, I see you, I appreciate you, and I love you. And once you have that whole solid foundation within yourself, you become unshakable, even when life gets hard, even when tragedy strikes. And that is what we need to talk about next. Because life isn't always sunshine and coffee mugs. Sometimes it's dark. Let's talk about how to find the light when the lights go out. When life is hard, this is not about ignoring pain. We have reached the part of the conversation that is the most important to me. Because everything I have said so far about enjoying your coffee and appreciating your husband sounds wonderful when life is normal. But what about when life isn't normal? What about when the diagnosis comes back positive? What about when the papers are served? What about the empty chair at the dinner table? What about the days when you are so overwhelmed by depression that you can barely get out of bed to brush your teeth, let alone find a micro moment to savor? I want to be very clear. If you are in the trenches of a tragedy right now and someone tells you to just be grateful, you have every right to be angry. It feels dismissive. It feels like they are asking you to paint a smiley face on a burning building. So I want to set a ground rule for this community. Gratitude is not a cure for grief, and it is not a denial of reality. Using the deep gratitude protocol does not mean you have to be grateful for the tragedy. You do not have to be grateful that you lost your job. You do not have to be grateful for the illness. You do not have to be grateful for the heartbreak. That is not what we are doing here. That is toxic positivity, and it is damaging. Real emotional maturity, the kind that actually helps you survive the storm, is the ability to hold two opposing truths in your hands at the exact same time. You can be absolutely devastated and grateful for the friend who brought you lasagna. You can be terrified about the future and grateful that your bed is warm right now. You can be heartbroken and grateful that the sun still came up this morning. This is the concept of coexistence. When we are in crisis, our brain tends to tunnel vision into the darkness. We think everything is bad. My whole life is over. The darkness feels total. It feels consuming. The anchor practice in these moments is not about fixing the problem. It is about punching a tiny pinhole in the blackout curtain to let a single beam of light in. It is about reminding your nervous system that even though 90% of your life feels like it is on fire, there is 10% that is still safe. There is 10% that is still good. This does not minimize your pain. It actually gives you the strength to endure the pain. If you are drowning, gratitude is not a yacht that comes to save you. It is a piece of driftwood. It's small, it's rough. But if you grab onto it, it keeps your head above water for one more minute. And sometimes one more minute is all you need. So if you are hurting right now, please do not pressure yourself to feel joy. Do not try to be the radiant woman we talked about in the last chapter. That is for another season. Right now, your job is just to find the driftwood. I am grateful that my lungs are breathing without me having to tell them to. I am grateful that this tea is hot. I am grateful that this day is almost over. That is enough. That is valid. And that is incredibly brave. The flashlight in the dark room, I want to give you a metaphor that has saved me more times than I can count. Imagine you are standing in a pitch black room. You can't see anything. You don't know where the door is. You don't know where the furniture is. You are terrified to move because you might trip and fall. This is what anxiety and depression feel like. It is the loss of perspective. The problems feel infinite and the solutions feel invisible. You feel paralyzed because you can't see the big picture. Now imagine someone hands you a small flashlight. It's not a floodlight. It doesn't light up the entire room. You still can't see the door on the other side. You still can't see the whole path, but you can see your feet. You can see the 1 square foot of floor directly in front of you. And because you can see that 1 square foot, you can take one step. And when you take that step, the light moves with you and reveals the next square foot. Gratitude is the flashlight. When you are in a crisis, you will drive yourself crazy trying to figure out the big picture. How will I pay for this divorce? What will my life look like in 5 years? Will I ever be happy again? You are trying to see the other side of the dark room and you can't. The deep gratitude protocol forces you to point the beam down at your feet. It asks, what is okay right now?
Just right now.
Is the floor holding you up?
Yes.
Is there oxygen in the room?
Yes.
Do you have a glass of water?
Yes.
Okay. You are safe in this second. You can take one breath. You can take one step. This is how you walk through hell. You don't run. You don't look at the horizon. You look at the ground beneath your feet and you find the tiny things that are working. I am grateful for these 5 minutes where the baby is finally sleeping because I can sit down. There's a flashlight on. Step. I am grateful for this song on the radio because it reminds me of a better time. Flashlight on. Step. I am grateful that I have the money for gas to get to this doctor's appointment. Or flashlight on. Step. Bit by bit, moment by moment, you navigate the room. You don't have to know the exit strategy. You just have to know that right here, right now, there is something to hold on to. This practice keeps you out of the terrifying future and anchors you in the manageable present. Anxiety lives in the future. Gratitude lives in the now. You cannot be in the future and the now at the same time. So when the panic rises, grab your flashlight, find one thing, just one, anchor into it, feel it, breathe. You are not ignoring the darkness. You are just refusing to let it swallow you whole. You are navigating it one thank you at a time. And you know what happens? Eventually, you take enough steps and you find the door, you find the way out, you survive. And on the other side of survival, there is something even bigger waiting for you. There is a shift in energy that happens when you start trusting that life, even hard life, is holding you. Let's talk about that energy. Let's talk about how this practice shifts your frequency and actually starts to change what you attract into your life. The ripple effect and manifestation, the frequency of receiving. We have talked about biology. We have talked about psychology. But now I want to talk about something a little bit different. I want to talk about physics, specifically the physics of energy. Even if you aren't a spiritual person, you know this to be true. You can walk into a room and instantly feel the vibe of the people inside. You can feel when someone is desperate. You can feel when someone is angry, and you can feel when someone is magnetic, open, and abundant. For many of us, we are living our lives in a state of constant wanting. We want a better job. We want a partner. We want the baby. We want the money. We spend our days broadcasting a very specific signal to the universe. I don't have it. I don't have it. I don't have it. This is the energy of lack. And here is the brutal truth about the law of attraction, or even just the psychology of opportunity. You cannot attract abundance when you are broadcasting a signal of lack. Think about it like a radio station. If you are tuned to 98.5 FM, the station of I Am Lonely, you cannot hear the music playing on 105.5 FM, the station of Deep Love. The frequencies do not match. This is where the deep gratitude protocol becomes a tool for magic. Neurologically and energetically, gratitude is the signature of receiving. Think about when you naturally feel grateful. You feel it after you have received a gift. You feel it after the problem is solved. You feel it after the hug. Your body interprets the emotion of gratitude as proof that it has already happened. So when you practice deep gratitude for what you already have, you are hacking the system. You are training your body to live in the chemical state of having. You are tuning your radio dial to the frequency of it is done. I am full. I am blessed. When you live in this state, the state of the anchor, you become a match for more good things. You aren't walking into a date with the energy of please like me. You are walking in with the energy of I already love my life. That is irresistible. You aren't walking into a job interview with the energy of I need this money. You are walking in with the energy of I am valuable and capable. That gets you hired. This is the great secret of manifestation that most people miss. They try to visualize the Ferrari or the ring, but they do it with a tight chest and a fearful heart. They are visualizing from a place of desperation. You have to feel it before you see it. The anchor practice is your daily rehearsal. When you spend 20 seconds savoring the warmth of your home or the love of your friend, you are raising your vibration. You are moving from the low, heavy frequency of need to the high, light frequency of appreciation. And in that high frequency, that is where the synchronicities happen. That is where you bump into the right person at the coffee shop. That is where the unexpected check comes in the mail. It isn't magic, it is alignment. You stop chasing the butterflies, you build a beautiful garden, see your internal state, and the butterflies come to you. So if you want to manifest a new life, stop obsessing over what is missing. Start obsessing over what is present. Pour your energy into loving the life you have right now. Love your small apartment, love your old car, love your current body. When you love what you have, the universe says she is ready for more. When you complain about what you have, the universe says, why would I give her more? She doesn't even like what she has now. Gratitude is the open door. Lack is the locked gate. But I know even with this knowledge, there is one thing that trips us up, one thing that pulls us back into fear, and that is time. We want it now. Let's talk about how to let go of the timeline, trusting the timing of your life. The hardest part of being a modern woman is the feeling that we are constantly racing against a clock. There is a biological clock, a career clock, a social clock. We look at Instagram and see our friends getting married or buying houses or traveling to Bali. And we look at our own lives and feel a sharp pang of panic. I am behind. It hasn't happened for me yet. What if it never happens? This panic causes us to grip our lives tightly. We try to force things. We swipe harder on the apps. We work longer hours. We try to micromanage the universe because we don't trust the timing. The deep gratitude protocol is the antidote to the grip. It is the practice of the open hand. When you are deeply grateful for this specific moment, for this cup of tea, this quiet morning, this season of being single, or this season of having young children, you are making a profound statement of trust. You are saying, I am exactly where I am supposed to be. This is the ultimate surrender. It is stopping the fight against time. Imagine you are a gardener. You plant a seed in the soil. You want a beautiful flower. If you are operating from fear and impatience, you will go out to the garden every morning and dig up the seed to check if it's growing. Is it a flower yet? No. Why not? What happens? You kill the seed. You disrupt the process because you couldn't trust the darkness of the soil. Gratitude is the water. You plant the intention, your desire, and then you stand back and you water the soil with gratitude for today. You appreciate the rain. You appreciate the sun. You appreciate the soil itself. You trust that even though you can't see the growth yet, something is happening beneath the surface. When you use the anchor, you are telling the universe, I am not frantic. I am not desperate. I trust the timing of my life. And paradoxically, when you stop digging up the seed, when you stop stressing about when it will happen, it happens faster. Resistance blocks flow. Surrender opens the floodgates. I have seen this happen time and time again. The woman who is desperate to get married repels men. The woman who finally decides to fall in love with her single life, who buys herself flowers and savors her freedom, suddenly meets the love of her life 2 weeks later. Why? Because she let go. She trusted me. Your life is not a race. It is unfolding. And you cannot rush the unfolding. You can only miss it. If you spend your whole life worried about chapter 10, you will completely miss the beauty of chapter 4. And chapter 4 is important. Chapter 4 is where you learn who you are. Chapter 4 is where you build the strength you will need for chapter 10. So use your gratitude practice to anchor yourself in chapter 4. Look around. What is here for you? What lessons? What beauty? What rest? Don't wish it away. Don't rush it away. Savor it. Say to yourself, I am grateful for where I am, and I am excited for where I am going. That is the sweet spot. That is where peace lives. And now you have the tools. You understand science. You understand the soul. You understand the energy. The only thing left to do is to take this information and turn it into a habit, because information doesn't change your life. Action does. Let's wrap this up with a specific challenge to kickstart your new, happier life. At the 7-day challenge, where I have covered a lot of ground today, we travel from the ancient biology of your brain through the chemistry of cortisol and into the physics of manifestation. But here is the catch. You can listen to this video. You can nod your head. You can agree with everything I said. You can even feel a little burst of hope right now. But if you click away from this video and go right back to your old habits, nothing will change. Your neural pathways will not rewire themselves just because you understand the theory. They only rewire when you do the work. So I am issuing a challenge. I am inviting you to join me for the 7-day deep gratitude challenge. For the next 7 days, I am asking you to commit to this practice. It will take less than 5 minutes of your day. You have to do it with intention. Here are the rules. Rule number 1, and do it first thing in the morning or last thing at night. Do not try to fit it in during the chaos of the day. You need a quiet container. Before you check your phone or right before you close your eyes to sleep. Rule number 20 repeats. You cannot be grateful for your coffee 7 days in a row. You cannot be grateful for your dog 7 days in a row. You have to hunt for something new every single day. This forces your reticular activating system to stay awake. It forces you to scan the horizon for fresh evidence of goodness. Rule number 13, follow the protocol strictly. Do not just think about it. Write it down or speak it out loud using the formula, the specific snapshot. So what exactly is it that because factor, so why does it matter? The 20-second savor, so feel it in your body. If you skip the savoring, you didn't do the rep. The savoring is the gym workout. The writing is just driving to the gym. I want you to buy a small notebook today or open a new note on your phone. Call it the anchor. Day 1 starts tomorrow morning. You might feel resistance. On day 3, you might feel too tired. On day 5, you might think this isn't working fast enough. Do it anyway. Push through the resistance. You are breaking an addiction to stress, and withdrawal is real. Treat this with the same seriousness you would treat a prescription from a doctor, because in many ways, it is. It is a prescription for your joy. If you can do this for 7 days, you will prove to yourself that you have control over your own mind. And once you know that You become unstoppable, the vision of the new you. Why am I pushing you so hard to do this? Because I want you to imagine who you could be 6 months from now. Imagine waking up in the morning without that heavy weight on your chest. Imagine opening your eyes and feeling a quiet hum of excitement for the day, simply because you know you will find beauty in it. Imagine walking into your kitchen and seeing the mess, but instead of feeling rage, you feel a strange sense of calm. You see the life within the mess. You pour your coffee and you actually taste it. You feel the warmth. You are present. Imagine your relationships. Imagine your partner looking at you with new interest because you have stopped nitpicking and started appreciating. Imagine the softness returning to your marriage. Imagine your children seeing a mother who smiles more than she sighs. Imagine walking into a room and not needing anyone's validation because you are so anchored in your own enoughness. You are radiant, you are magnetic, you are the woman who brings the light rather than the woman who is looking for someone else to hold the flashlight. This version of you exists. She is not a fantasy. She is simply you with a different set of neural pathways. She is you with a regulated nervous system. She is you with a heart that has learned to receive. You are not far away from her. You are just a series of small intentional choices away from her. The bridge between who you are now, tired, overwhelmed, anxious, and who you want to be is built one micro moment of gratitude at a time. You have the tools, you have the map, you have the permission. The only question left is, are you willing to do the work to meet her? Sign off. You are ready to meet that version of yourself. I want you to claim it right now. Go down to the comments section and simply type, I am Radiwai. Let that comment be your contract with yourself. Let it be the moment you drew a line in the sand and decided that stress would no longer be your baseline. I will be down there reading your comments and cheering you on. If this video spoke to your soul, please like it so it can reach other women who need this message, and subscribe for more deep dives into the psychology of a beautiful life. You are worthy of happiness. Now go anchor it in. I'll see you in the next video.